What's up everyone, I'm Dan and thanks to Badass Mongoose for the review code for Helix, Descent and Ascent on the Nintendo Switch systems. Helix, Descent and Ascent is one of those rare indie games that immediately grabs your attention before you've even started solving its first puzzle. Its striking black and white sketchbook presentation gives the game a unique identity from the moment you begin, creating an atmosphere that is equal parts mysterious, artistic and thought-provoking. The story begins in a dark and seemingly empty world where you awaken alone. It doesn't take you long before you encounter a strange doppelganger who looks exactly like you but appears to be working against your interests. From there, Helix slowly unfolds its narrative through exploration, environmental storytelling and puzzle solving rather than lengthy dialogue or exposition. The game asks players to interpret its themes of identity, solitude and relationships for themselves, creating an experience that feels personal and open to interpretation. What makes Helix stand out most is its willingness to trust the player. Rather than constantly providing instructions or objective markers, the game encourages exploration and observation. You're often left to follow your intuition, experimenting with your surroundings until something clicks. Thankfully, the game does a good job of rewarding curiosity, whether that's through discovering a new ability, uncovering a clue about the world, or finding the solution to a puzzle that initially seemed impossible. Puzzle solving sits at the heart of the experience, and it's where Helix is at its strongest. Throughout the adventure, you'll unlock a variety of abilities that allow you to interact with the environment in different ways. Individually, these powers are interesting, but the real depth comes from the game's mix and match system, which allows abilities to be combined together in multiple ways. As new powers are introduced, the puzzles become increasingly complex and creative, requiring players to think carefully about how different mechanics interact. One of the most enjoyable aspects of the game is how frequently the mechanics evolve. Just when you think you've mastered a particular concept, Helix introduces a new ability or presents an entirely different way of using an existing one. This constant evolution keeps the gameplay fresh throughout the journey and prevents the puzzle solving from becoming repetitive. It's a relatively simple game in terms of controls and basic mechanics, but it consistently finds new ways to challenge the player intellectually. The controls themselves are refreshingly straightforward. Moving through the world and activating abilities feels intuitive, allowing you to focus on solving puzzles rather than wrestling with complicated inputs. The accessibility helps make even the more challenging sections approachable, especially for players who may not regularly play puzzle-focused games. Visually, Helix is stunning. The monochromatic art style draws inspiration from classic black and white comics and manga, resulting in an aesthetic that feels unique. Every environment looks hand-drawn, with living 2D scenery and evocative imagery that reinforces the game's themes of light and darkness. Combined with the atmospheric soundtrack, the presentation creates a haunting sense of isolation that perfectly suits the narrative. However, Helix isn't without its frustrations. As more abilities are introduced, some puzzles can become overly dependent on trial and error. There are also instances where the monochrome presentation works against the gameplay. Depth perception can sometimes be difficult to judge, making certain platforming or puzzle elements harder than intended. Combined with occasional inconsistencies in ability usage, these moments can test your patience more than they should. Despite these shortcomings, Helix, Descent and Ascent remains a memorable and highly distinctive experience. Its fascinating visual style, clever puzzle design, evolving mechanics and thought-provoking themes help it stand out from the crowd. While some later challenges can become frustrating, the sense of discovery and the satisfaction of overcoming its puzzles make the journey worthwhile. For players looking for a puzzle adventure that dares to be different, Helix is well worth descending into. Helix, Descent and Ascent is out now on the Nintendo eShop, priced at $13.49 in the UK and $14.99 in the US. Thanks as always to you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time.